Afternoon and happy International Women's Day. It's quite a day to have our featured guest today, Tracy Champagne from Small Business Milwaukee. And we are going to have a great show because for now and into the near future, at least, online networking is going to be the mode that we have to deal with. So how are you doing when you go to online networking events? Are you getting the most out of those events? Well, Tracy Champagne from Small Business Milwaukee is going to teach us how to get the most out of these online networking events so you can make connections and build alliances even when you're not in the same room. Welcome to Idea Collective Live. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. This is the official weekly meeting of the small business community everywhere. Inside this meeting, we are going to be broadcasting live on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Twitch and YouTube. We are everywhere. So no matter where you're watching, we appreciate you tuning in, and make sure you hit subscribe or follow or like or thumbs up or whatever it might be. That way we know that you're there. The other thing is our chat is unified. So if you see something inside the show and you want to ask a question, awesome. We'd love to hear from you. Put it in the chat and we'll include it into our conversation with Tracy today. The show is sponsored by Bank59, our new partnership with Quick Trip, and of course, Serendipity Labs and the Idea Collective for small business owners. So later in the show, speaking of Bank59, we've got something really cool coming up. We've got your opportunity to do two really great things. One, get a free year in the Idea Collective, and two, tell us about a great women-owned small business in Milwaukee, because we're giving away a year in the Idea Collective with a brand new partnership with FM 106. We'll tell you all about that in just a little bit. So with that, how about we get on with it and bring on our featured guest, Tracy Champagne, the owner of Small Business Milwaukee. Tracy, it's great to see you this afternoon. How are you?
Good. How are you? Glad to be here.
Doing great. It's great to see you. So we get an opportunity today to talk all about virtual networking events, and you have been one of the leaders when it comes to virtual networking events. How have you seen them kind of change and evolve since the pandemic hit?
Well, when we first started doing the virtual networking events, we were mainly all going to Zoom, and then Zoom had some issues, and we kind of all wondered what else is out there. So we started exploring other ones. But during the course of the last year, there's been a lot of new virtual networking platforms that have come out there, and they're very, very cool and interesting. So I think virtual networking might be here to stay, depending on how these platforms do.
And the platform evolution has gone from everyone being able to share their camera and their microphone to more of a dynamic interaction. Is that what you're seeing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's one in specific that I really like, Virtual United, which I think you guys had Benny on this show once already. But that one is very interesting because it's got a totally different concept where you're not just going into a room of one people, or you're not being split up by an organizer. You get to kind of go wherever you like. It's pretty cool, and it's still evolving. They keep adding things onto it.
Yeah, and it helps you connect with people easier, right? If you choose where people are going to sit, but I want to go over there and talk to Tracy, you can like literally get up and go over to Tracy's table, which is really cool.
Right.
So we've all had to change our behavior from this in-person networking to the virtual networking. So being someone that runs these things all the time, what kind of tips can you give for small business owners to do better when it comes to virtual networking events?
So what I've learned about virtual networking versus in-person networking is that it's about 100 times faster. So you go to an in-person event and you'll talk for a while. You maybe sit at a table with 8 people. Here, you're probably in a room with at least a dozen to 30 people. And you've got a little chat on the side normally where you can have all these conversations going on at the same time while you're like exactly what's happening right now. You've got all this chat going on at the side, but you're at the same time. So your networking has all of a sudden become super fast. And now because you're sitting behind your computer, the next thing that most people do when you meet somebody at a virtual networking event is that you go check them out on LinkedIn or Facebook so you can connect with them right away so you can meet with them after. And that is similar to like the business card experience, except for the business card goes in your pocket, and then maybe by the end of the week, you'll pull it back out. So it's just become so much faster.
I'm curious in the chat how you have altered your behavior when it comes to attending virtual networking events. So you're saying this pace and this speed is something that's different when it comes to in-person to virtual. Would you recommend that people kind of compress their elevator pitch and get to the point a little bit faster in virtual events?
Well, I think it kind of depends on the event. If it's a presentation where it's all about them, then I think they should do a great presentation about themselves. But if
Mhm.
like some of the networking events that I hold, we try to get two things in at one time. So we try to have a topic and we try to do introductions. So if you can get it in within 30 seconds to a minute, then it leaves us opportunities to have time to chat. So
Yeah. One of the things that's been shared inside the chat, which I think is really good, is not that one, is making sure that you're scheduling your connects during the meeting. So that way, like we were networking in a
mhm.
networking event right now, that, here's my link. Let's get a meeting on the calendar. Is that something that you're encouraging people to do?
Definitely, definitely, because as soon as you get off that networking event, all of a sudden something else happens. You have an email or somebody's calling you or you have your to-do list that you have to do and you'll forget and then you'll miss that opportunity. So it's best to try to do it right during that event.
So where do people go wrong? We've all had to attend these virtual networking events. Where do people go wrong in the virtual setting?
I think if you go in there not really having a goal in mind, you kind of want to have a goal in mind. Like maybe you want to reach out to so many people during the event, or maybe you want to be consistent in in showing who you are, because the more that you can get your business around for people to see it, you're more consistent you are, the better off advantage your business is going to have. So I think maybe showing up to one event and then we're coming back again is probably not a good thing. You want to show up a
Mm.
couple times. You want to be repeatedly seen. That's to your best advantage. And to go in with a plan. How many people are you going to follow up with, meet, engage with?
I don't know if I've ever thought of it that way. And that's a strategy that you use. You go to a virtual networking event, you're going to meet people. You have a goal in mind, like, I'm going to meet 3 new people today. Is that the type of thing you're talking about?
Yeah. So if I'm going to, just as if I were to go to an in-person event, I want to meet somebody, either I'm going to directly work with, somebody I can refer to, or somebody that could possibly be a client of mine. So those are my three things that I'm looking for. And it may not happen at every event, but those are the things that are on my radar. And for the people that are at the event, that's on my radar for them too. So
Now, I think it's safe to say, from the outside looking in and talking to you a little bit, it sounds like Small Business Milwaukee is just growing and thriving, especially with virtual networking events. Looking back on the last 12 months, how has it gone for you and the agency?
surprisingly well. We were doing in-person events, and then as soon as we switched to the network or the virtual networking events, at first it was a slow start. Wasn't quite sure how it was going to go, but I knew I had to continue the networking part of the business. So I just jumped right into the virtual networking events. But surprisingly, they're very easy and they're fun. And I
Yeah.
like all the video techniques and the cool things and all the different platforms. And I'm a geek when it comes to tools. So any new gadget out there, I'm all over. I'm trying it, which is why I'm so agitated. I'm not on Clubhouse right now. But so yeah, so we've just taken off with it. We're having a lot of fun with it, and we keep adding in more and more and more.
Are you not on Clubhouse because you're an Android person or because you don't have an
Yes,
invite? Oh, you're an
I am
Android
an
person.
Android person,
Yes, I'm
and I'm
normally an
anxiously
Android.
waiting.
Yes. Well, when it gets there, we'll get you hooked up because newsflash and blatant plug, the Idea Collective just got our a Clubhouse club. So if you're on Clubhouse and you want to be a part of our club, we just got it live the other night. So blatant plug, and
Nice.
we'd love to have you when you get online. That would be great, and you would kill that format. Oh my god, it'd be amazing.
I'm so agitated. I'm not on it. I was almost at an iPhone, and I
Yeah,
had to do a reality check.
yeah. It's cool, but I don't know if it's go buy a new iPhone cool. Like, I'm pretty sure they're coming to you real soon, um, and it'll be
I'm
great.
hoping.
Uh, so you mentioned earlier that you think that they're here to stay. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? What do you think the future of virtual networking events is going to be?
So I think a lot of people that weren't doing virtually have now had a taste of doing it virtually, and now they're not much afraid of it. And huge time saver. I mean, you don't have to go to networking events. So maybe you want your time for your family and friends, and you want to have more personal time, and you want to do all your net virtually, or maybe do most of them virtually and only do 1 or 2 a week in person, because now you don't have to drive everywhere. It's just going to be such a convenience in the business world.
Yeah, it sure seems like we can get a lot more done when we're meeting on Zoom rather than driving all over town. And speaking of networking, we are going to do the quick trip after party networking here. So there's the link that we have up on the screen. So after we're done talking to Tracy and we end today's show, we're going to hop over to Zoom and have a conversation. You'll meet some people maybe you don't know, and it's open and free for all. So if you're watching the show, no matter what platform you're on, hang out with us at the quick trip after party. We would love to have you. Also, we're allowing and encouraging questions. So if you're looking to get a question answered today about how you can do a better job with your virtual networking technique, drop it into the chat and we will include it in the conversation. So what's the future look like for Small Business Milwaukee? You had in-person events and you were doing great with that. Virtual comes along, you're slaying that. What are you looking at moving forward for Small Business Milwaukee?
Well, we're a digital marketing agency, so we do a lot of things, and I feel virtual networking events are just a digital form of working your business, but in person. So I feel the digital virtual networking events are going to be here to stay at Small Business Milwaukee. That's not to have some in person. We will just be doing a lot more virtual now in person.
For sure. And what is the
I'm
agency
having internet
focusing on?
issues.
No, it's okay. We're getting through it. So tell us about the agency itself. What is it specializing in, and when should someone pick up the phone and call you if they're in the need of this service?
Sure. So we do a lot of online and social media marketing for small businesses. If you're a newer business just getting out there, we're a resource for getting your new website or your new social media started. If you're into your business for a few years, 3 or 4 years, and now you're realizing that your business is shifting and you want to put your website somewhere else, or you want to have a business help you build your website, we are great for that. We also do have a membership. We have a growing in the Milwaukee area of small business owners and small businesses in Milwaukee. So we offer feature articles and our directory listing for clients. But on top of that, we also do social media shout outs and put them in our newsletter and do a lot of promotion for them. So we do have some membership options also. Bulk of it. We are looking at doing some possible social feature. Those are in the works. So.
And those would be hugely popular. It remains one of the number one questions of what should I, when should I, how often should I? And it always seems to revolve around social media. It's just an ever-changing landscape for many small business owners. So let's end on a high note. Can you share a virtual networking success story? Someone that you didn't know until you met virtually, or someone you're collaborating with now that you've never met in person? Because I'm sure in the last 12 months, you've got at least one of those.
I've got a few of those. But I would have to say one that sticks out because I keep seeing his name chat here is Milwaukee Hedge. And I've never met him in person except for one time when I brought him for Christmas. I've seen him for 5 minutes. But
that's it.
Before, he was probably one of the first people to the virtual networking events back in March, and gotten along well since then, and we've supported. It's been really good.
That's terrific. Any final thoughts for people to do a better job with their virtual networking that you've observed over the last 12 months?
Have good internet. No, I would just say just be consistent and be consistent and to them and participate. They're just supposed to.
Yeah. That's true. We got one question we'll try and bring up here, and hopefully you can see it. It's from one of our Facebook viewers. So in your opinion, when do you think you'll be able to start having in-person networking events with size limits? When you come to the events that you're thinking about throwing in person, in your mind, when are you thinking that might start happening, and what are you looking at?
Um, well, after watching the news and so many people having their shots and seeing some of the new activities that are going on around me, more and more people are having in-person events. I would have to say, of summer, people are going to start having a lot more in-person events with masks on. But many people will be vaccinated, so that's
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, I'm telling you, it's such a pleasure to finally get you on the show. Tracy Champagne, the owner of Small Business Milwaukee. Thank you for everything you're doing in the Milwaukee area for small business and for being a great partner of the Idea Collective. It's great to see you. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Tracy Champagne from Small Business Milwaukee. It's great to see her on the show. All right, so we've got some more things to do on the program today. We wanted to learn about how to do a better job with our virtual networking, and Tracy is priming us to get ready for the Quick Trip After Party Networking. So no matter where you are watching this show, we all come together on Zoom after the show. So make sure to grab that link and join us after the show so you can join us for some networking. Now, one of the things that I mentioned going into the show, which is pretty darn exciting, it's International Women's Day. What? Right? I'm picturing Susie Moon right now. What? Right? It's a big deal. So we are excited about that. And we are excited about the partnership that we have with Bank 59 and FM 106, one of the big radio stations here in Milwaukee. We are partnering with them to nominate local women-owned businesses to win a free year in the Idea Collective. Now, this is a terrific promotion. They started it on Monday, March 1st with Bank 59 and FM 106. They've been talking about it on air constantly. And they have people who are going to this website and they are putting in here, that's an entry box if you're just looking at the web, to tell us about a women-owned business. And then they are selecting one winner per week. And one winner per week, each week for 3 weeks. We're giving away 3 years in the Idea Collective for women-owned businesses in the Milwaukee area. It's a terrific partnership. Bank 59 continues to impress, and FM 106 doing the right thing, which is super exciting. So if you're fired up about International Women's Day and you know a woman-owned business in the Milwaukee area that you want to have in the Idea Collective, here is the link. I will drop it in the chat. I hope it comes through cleanly, but we would love to have you nominate someone in the area to be a part of the Idea Collective. We're pretty darn excited about it. So thanks to Bank 59 for that. And thanks to Bank 59 for that other opportunity to get one free year in the Idea Collective. You just got to go to their website. Go to their website, visit that link, and you can get a free year. How? Move your banking to Bank 59, or if you're an existing member of Bank 59, you can just ask them for a free year and they will hook you up. So we wanted to make sure that we got that in as well. Another piece of housekeeping for the members inside the Idea Collective. Now, this is me, right? Okay, this is Pat Miller, Idea Coach, talking to the Idea Collective members right now. I am on the planet right now to make the best experience possible for you inside the Idea Collective. Part of that is asking questions and listening to your answers. We have a membership survey that's live inside the group right now. And I'm looking for you to take a minute to fill out that survey. It's only like 8 questions. And no one of them is not, should I go get a toupee? That's not one of them. That's not one of them. But go in and answer the questions if you would, because we're wanting to know about what kind of content we should create, what kind of shows we should host, and how we can make the Idea Collective an even better experience for you. So if you're in the group, go take the survey. We would really appreciate it. Coming up this week, we've got 2 Idea Slam brainstorming sessions, one on Tuesday, one on Thursday. Also, if you're kind of walking around wishing, gosh, I wish I could do better promotions, have better ideas to engage with my customers, the Customer Engagement Workshop is this week, Thursday at 9 a.m. inside the Idea Collective. I'm bringing my 20 years of radio experience to you with a list of ideas, promotions, holidays, and ways that you can engage with your customers. I'm going to do all the thinking. You do all the taking Thursday morning at 9. Also, our friends David Bellman and Paul M. Newberger are hosting an event called Books and Booze. Where do I sign up? The event is listed inside the group, but it's Thursday out in Waukesha, and along with Hector Colon, all 3 of the authors are bringing their books, doing a signing party, having a drink Thursday night in Waukesha. So maybe we will see you there. Okay, we're ready for the big dismount. We're so grateful to our partners, Bank 59, Quick Trip, Serendipity Labs, and the Idea Collective, and we are jumping out now to the after party networking. Are you coming? Come on. Quick Trip is putting it on. We're going to sit around and chat with one another. We're going to see what kind of help you need, what kind of introductions you're looking to make, what questions you might have to continue the discussion that we started with Tracy. It's super simple. Hit that link. We'll join you in the Quick Trip after party in just a few moments. Thank you to Tracy Champagne from Small Business Milwaukee for coming on this edition of Idea Collective Live. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach.